back the ports on either end of the Panama Canal. So I'm just saying that's a win for the moment. So China is going kind of crazy too, which I think that Putin doesn't want to be partners with China. We forced him to be. U.S. indicts 12 Chinese nationals who are hackers who are shutting down websites. So, like when InfoWars would go down and the sustained attacks against Epoch Times, they've now identified the hackers who are doing that. Anyone who talks bad about China, you can go over on Epoch Times. Apparently, they are directly reporting to what's his name, Yi, because Yi was so freaked out about Epoch Times. It was a direct report, like on Yi's desk. China says if America wants war, we're ready to fight till the end. And this is, again, over the tariffs and that. The new Trump world order, however you want to put it. And China's melting down with their economy. They had big meetings, and basically they were just beating the nuclear drum, war drum, basically. China backs Egypt's plan to keep Trump out of Gaza. European leaders defy Trump and Israel they support this Arab plan to fix Gaza or whatever they're going to do. Meanwhile, Trump's golf course in Scotland is vandalized by these same Palestinian activist group wackadoodles. And as of today, if I know you talked about this earlier, so I won't go into it, but Syria, who, by the way, is another Russian attached situation that is part of the caliphate, that Turkey wants to reform the Ottoman Empire, which there's no secret there. They're trying to make a corridor where you can pass through Syria. And now all the, UN and all these other people are there, and they're killing all the Christians and other ethnic groups there. I guess my question with that is, I guess my last word on that is, I'm kind of sick of hearing about how Middle Eastern Christians are being killed in the oldest churches and the oldest, people who look like and speak the same language that Jesus would have recognized. Like, why aren't the churches taking up a collection to go do something about that? Why does the United States or any country have to do something about that? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't evangelical churches and the Catholic Church and all of them, why aren't they forming an army and raising funds to take back their territory? It just blows my mind. Who do they think's going to fix it? Who do they think's going to fix it? What country is going to get involved in that? Zero. There are no Christian nations in the sense that we have treaties or sworn alliances to run in and defend Christians. I mean, maybe we should have them, but we don't. So I don't understand, when Tucker Carlson or whatever comes out, what is he? He's I forget what church he belongs to. It's one of the most mild-mannered churches. Why aren't they sending armed men there to do something about it? Go call Eric Prince. Write a check. He'll get you back your crap. Stop talking about the Christians. Do something about it. I mean, freaking medieval people did something about it. Why can't they do something about it? That's my thing. Okay, with that, I will leave you guys. But wow, what a week, huh? And
I like it, Aaron.
Out there.
I like it. You know what? I'm down for writing that check. Let's do it. It's funny that America is just not only the savior of mankind and all that, but we also have to be the savior of Christianity. I mean, let's write the check to Eric Prince. Let's go.
Seriously. We got plenty of people, it's not just Americans, but plenty of people where we have mercenaries and people who know what they're doing, who could go in there and defend those churches and defend those villages and communities and churches. Why aren't they passing the plate around and hiring these people? I don't get it.
I don't think you know, the bad people don't really want us to save Christianity, right? They've got their attack and they've been at it since the beginning of time, really. But I'm with you. Let's write a check. I'd rather pay for that than pay for, transsexuals in Uganda, you know?
Right. I mean, that's just crazy. I don't know. So, did you hear any of my show, Roxy?
I did not because I thought that I had 2 hours between your show and Deb's time slot. So I'm like, screwing off all day. And then I look at the calendar and I'm like, whoa. So I had to do a show prep while your show was on. So I didn't hear it. And it's probably good because I could hear your voice that you were all riled up. You would have got me all riled up.
Yeah.
We don't need to be riled up on a Saturday night. So anyway, I have a bunch of woo-woo for tonight. So you probably need a little bit of a break after all that, but I hope you come back because we got woo.
Yeah, I'll try to come back. I'll like take a break and see what's doing. Yeah, I was all riled up. I was talking about, how, this week is like right out of the Q posts in the sense of that, I mean, it's hard to explain, but just Iran, North Korea, the whole thing of New World Order, what's the N stand for NATO?
Yeah.
The Nazis, the Ukrainian Nazis, like it is to, and the back channels to Russia, the sum of all fears, all of that is happening this week. It's all in one, basically in one Q post, and it makes your mind just go bananas. And
It
it's
is all coming together.
The missile thing, the nuclear missile, the post about the START, START, capital letters.
Right.
That's also this week because they're redoing the START nuclear thing.
That's
so it's
interesting.
all in one post and all happening this week.
Maybe if I have time, we'll go take a look at some deltas because that'll be interesting to see.
It's not a delta though. It's from the map.
But I want to see deltas for next week though.
Oh yeah. That would be interesting.
Just to see if there's anything happening there. All right. Well, I'm going to get to it. So go do what you got to do and come on back because we got some woo-woo. We haven't done woo-woo in a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let me find my intro. Let's get the party started. Thank you, Erin. I'm sure it was a great show. I'm sorry I missed it though because I like to tune in to Erin's show. I always learn something from Erin. I always do. There's never, ever been a show of Erin's that I did not walk away without learning something new. All right, so let's get busy. Everyone say your thank yous to Erin. 80s Erin. I don't have an 80s voice. But anyway, okay, well, yeah, before we go into the woo-woo, I promised someone something, and I am going to deliver, because promises made, promises kept, right? That's how we do things around here. So I am going to do that right now. Oh, look, I already got my screen going, and I see this little person out there. Light Switch said I could write a song, and here it is.
Got a chat friend named Light Switch, oh yeah. A spark in the dark with a wild wacky flare. They light up the screen with a buzzing glow, typing puns so fast it's a comedy show. Light Switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. We're writing bonkers, you're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. They claim their powers from a pickle jar. Send a meme of a cow on a shooting star. On in a flash, then off they go, ranting about socks and a tornado's flow. Light switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. Bright and bonkers, you're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. They crash with the quip, not a dancing fridge, a digital jester on a Wi-Fi bridge. What's the deal? They type real sly, I'm cackling hard. Don't know why. One day they spammed with the rubber duck, said this is my brain when I'm out of luck. Flicker and flash, they're a nutty delight. Light switch keeps the chat lit up all night. Light switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. Right fighting bonkers. You're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. Here's the light switch, my zany chat star. Bolts of fun, no matter where you are. Keep flicking those switches, don't ever stop. You're the king of laughs in this online hop. Here's the light switch, my zany chat star. A bolt of fun, no matter where you are. Keep flipping those switches, don't ever stop. You're the king of laughs in this online hop. Your laughter skill.
Yay! Yay, light switch! I had so much fun with that. All right, okay. Well, since we did that, and look at me. I haven't even gotten to the party in the front or the back or the business in the front or whatever it is. I'm already messing up. But that's okay, because stuff is here, so let's just do it, right? Get your boogie on.
Looking for some sunshine on a cloudy day. Gonna hit up the chat, she's just a word away. She's got the focus to light up the night. Dancing through the room like she's quite the sight. News and dancing, it's all so sweet. Bringing all the joy to my dancing feet. Need some help, she's always there. Spreading her kindness everywhere. With a spirit so fine and fancy free. She's a groove that's loving and lifting me. I need some step stuff, baby, tonight. She's my cheery spark, my pure delight. I want some step stuff, making it right. Turning up the fun, she's out of sight. Step stuff, ooh, ooh. Step stuff, yeah. She's the sweetest vibe, no one compares. She's got love that's as white as the sky. Lifts you up right when you're feeling shy. Dancing through the room with a funky beat. Everybody's moving to a happy beat. She's the queen of good with a friend so true. Brightening the world like she always do. Need some help, she's always there. Spreading her kindness everywhere. With a spirit so fine and fancy free. She's the groove that's loving and lifting me. I need some step stuff, baby, tonight. She's my cheery spark, my pure delight. I want some step stuff, making it right. Turning up the fun, she's out of sight. Step stuff, ooh, ooh. Step stuff, yeah. She's the sweetest vibe, no one compares. Hot like a fever, cool like a breeze. She's got that magic, puts you at ease. Twirling and shining, she's a disco queen. Steph's got the moves you've never seen. Ooh, get down with a funky chill. Right now, shake your booty, have no fear. I need some step stuff, baby, tonight. She's my cheery spark, my pure delight. I need some step stuff, baby, tonight. She's my cheery spark, my pure delight. I want some step stuff, making it right. Turning up the fun, she's out of sight. Step stuff, ooh, ooh. Step stuff, yeah. She's the sweetest vibe, no one compares. Step stuff, keep it grooving, keep it tight. Step stuff, shining bright all through the night. Ooh, yeah. She's my step stuff, oh so fine. Dancing queen of kindness, one of a kind.
Stuff is certainly. Whoa. She is our dancing queen, but I understand we have another birthday out there. Zahap himself. Oh gosh, let me fix my screens because I can't ever navigate when it does this to me. I think I just made a rhyme, you guys. All right, move it. Why are you doing this to me? All right, fine. Okay, we're on it. We got everything under control here. It might not appear that way, but we do. We want to go to here because we've got a birthday. We got a birthday. All right. I'm going to have to type the whole thing out. There it is. Here we go. Happy birthday, Zap, Zahap. Oh, we have no. Oh, start over.
Da di da da, da di da da. Happy birthday! Pop the corn, don't drink champagne tonight. One night of fame, everybody gonna know your name. 'Cause it's your birthday. This one's for you. Tonight's for you. We're here for you. It's your birthday. Pop the corn, don't drink champagne tonight. One night of fame, everybody gonna know your name. 'Cause it's your birthday. This one's for you. Tonight's for you. We're here for you. Happy birthday! I feel so high. Feel so high. So high that the stars are all in line. The zodiac is mine. Happy birthday from Patriots into. I can't hold back my smile. Hold back my smile. So happy birds, I'll sing a song. Cats and dogs getting along. Dancing on the day I was born. Hey! Pop the corn, don't drink champagne tonight. One night of fame, everybody gonna know your name. 'Cause it's your birthday. This one's for you. Tonight's for you. We're here for you. It's your birthday. Pop the corn, don't drink champagne tonight. One night of fame, everybody gonna know your name. 'Cause it's your birthday. This one's for you. Tonight's for you. We're here for you. It's your birthday. This one's for you. Tonight's for you. We're here for you. Ba 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 ba. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. I am definitely no too sweet, but it's the thought that counts. All right. Happy birthday, Zahap Zap. All right. So anyway, 14 minutes into this, I'm all distracted and doing all the boogie stuff. I'm not supposed to be doing that. We got a show. The show must go on. All right. So you guys know I'm the woo-woo girl. I've been missing out on the woo-woo, so I figured we would dip our little toe into a little bit of strangeness tonight. This is an unscheduled show. This is Deb's time slot. I am just filling in. She had some things happening, so I am here to fill the slot. So we got this whole world of the unexplained, and I was trying to figure out, what do we want to talk about? Spread the news. Sunny is eating birthday cake. She better be bringing some back for us, Steph. That's all I got to say, because I'm out of cake, and I need cake. Yes, we're going to party after the woo. We're going to have a woo party. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff in the world that we don't know. We don't know. And hey, thank you, Christian Mom. It is my pleasure to be here with you all. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple things. So who has been to Mount Shasta? Have you guys been to Mount Shasta in Northern California? Anybody? 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 Anybody been to Mount Shasta? All right, I don't know. Tim is supposed to be here. Brad, have you been? Ooh, Stuff has. Tim Will has. All right. Yes, Raging Smirk has too. Okay, well, good. Maybe you guys will have some stories to share. Not some, not some stories to stare, but some stories to share. Yeah, I would love to move there too, actually. Nice. Okay, so you guys know. Call Me Crazy Too has been there too. I don't know you Call Me Crazy Too, but I'm kind of crazy too. So nice to meet you, Call Me Crazy Too. Good vibes. Okay, so anyway, Mount Shasta, it has this reputation for being a spiritual hotspot. It has a dormant. I am slurring my words, and I have not had any alcohol in like years. I don't know how many years, but years. And nothing else except Diet Coke. Anyway, so it has a volcano, a 14,000-foot volcano, and it attracts all these mystics and hikers and conspiracy theorists. So some of those people are our people. Very similar to Sedona, kind of has the same vibes as Sedona. So it's got it all. There's this thing called Lemurians, which we'll talk about, underground cities, Bigfoot, and UFOs. I mean, who could possibly want more? But first, we can't go on without me doing this because I haven't done it in a while. And I know you all have been missing it because I have been too. Na 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 na. Here it is. Am I not sharing my screen? That's awesome. I was all into it, like waving my hands and everything. Dang. That's good. I was just testing you all. It was just testing you. See, just checking to see if you guys are awake. Good. You all passed the test. Now let's continue, shall we? Ooh, it's going to be a long night. Here we go. Let me make sure all my buttons are checked. Where's that little pesky thing at again? Let's go look at it. It's all good there. All right. Here we go. Kaboom! This is your brain on the Roxy Files. Wow. Kind of hurts a little bit, actually. Okay, we're gonna get busy. I need to fix my screen so you don't see my little things up there, but that's okay. All right, so let's take a look. We're gonna go to Mount Shasta. Let's take a little look-see. All right, here we go. And I set a marker at about 3:09.
Into years.
Ooh, stop for a second. 3:00 right there. All right, so here we go.
Mount Shasta, upon first glance, is nothing short of awe-inspiring and formidable. Nestled within the southern reaches of the Cascade Range in Siskiyou County, California, this now dormant volcano stands majestically at 14,179 feet, towering over the lush forested valley below. Its stature ranks it as the second highest peak in the Cascade Range. and positions it as the fifth towering giant across the expanse of California. Unique in its isolation, Mount Shasta does not share its base with any nearby mountains, which allows it to rise abruptly and steeply from the earth, resembling a mystical giant standing over the verdant valleys that sprawl around its base, asserting its dominance over the Northern California landscape. Legend has it that on days when the sky is clear, this massive and somewhat intimidating mountain can be seen from as far as 140 miles away, standing as a solitary natural monolith that has seized the admiration and sparked the creativity of humans for countless generations. It's hardly surprising then that such a prominent feature on the landscape would become the heart of numerous legends and curious tales.
Ooh, and curious tales. All right, so I lived in Northern California. It definitely has a vibe about it. Like, people talk about how Sedona, Arizona has this like vortex thing. Northern California has a weird spiritual feeling about it too. I can remember going near, I have not been to, but I have been near Bohemian Grove, and it definitely, I don't know. Let's ask you guys out there in chat. Have you guys ever been to a place and it just had a weird vibe to it? Or maybe not even a negative one, but it's like makes you feel differently, where you instantly feel different whenever you go to an area. Definitely does. Yes, this is Mount Shasta, California. So in Northern California, there's definitely a weird feeling about it. I'm not even saying it's negative. It's just different, a different thing. So that we got some out there. Montana Cindy says Jekyll Island. Ooh, I bet that does. Tim says weed is there too. Well, that'll make you feel something. Mo has felt something, going to a different place, feeling a little something, something. Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't feel anything, that's cool too. But there are some places where I just pick up on some things. The Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, I have heard about that. I did not go. Probably just mental disorders. Okay, thanks. All right, so does have, I don't know, Sedona definitely has that feeling for me. So one of the oldest and wildest stories told about Mount Shasta is the lost civilization of Lemuria. Lemuria. I think this is, let's see. I think it isn't this one. Let us see if I can. Oh, not that
The
one.
indigenous peoples of
If I have the right link here.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you can get it.
They had three.
Stop that. So let's go back here. Somewhere around here-ish.
However, these theories remain unconfirmed by science. The submerged Lemurian continent is also called the Mu continent. The name Lemuria is derived from the lemurs believed to have inhabited these regions. Meanwhile, the Indians had their own ancient term for their submerged continent, long before the 1864 theory.
So basically, the story of Lemuria, coming from Lemu, apparently, it doesn't really start with like mystics or like ancient prophecies, but 19th century science. So in the 1860s, there's this British zoologist named Philip, I think it's Glader. He proposed the idea of a sunken continent in the Indian Ocean to explain why certain species, like lemurs, were found in both Madagascar and India, but not in between. He called this a hypothetical landmass. He called it Lemuria, named after the lemur. Lemur, I don't know, however you say that. Lemur. Let's see, dry scientific hypothesis, nothing paranormal about it, but science has a funny way of sparking imagination, right? People start to, think about it. Yeah, Tim says there are little people that live under there. We'll talk about that. So by the late 1800s, occultists and writers latched onto Lemuria, transforming it from a lost land into a lost civilization. Theosophists like Helena Blavatsky, we've talked about her before. She was a prominent spiritualist. She wove Lemuria into her esoteric teachings. In her 1888 book, The Secret Doctrine, she described Lemuria as a cradle of human evolution, home to an advanced telepathic race that predated Atlantis. Which if you've ever done any deep dives on Atlantis, it's fascinating. It really is. According to Blavatsky, Lemuria sank below the waves due to a cataclysmic event, but some of its inhabitants survived, scattering their wisdom across the globe. It's very interesting that there's also like the biblical references to a flood, and I think it's in this video talking about their size. I think they said it was like their average over 4 meters tall, which I think that would make them like 12 to 13 feet tall or something, which makes me think of the Nephilim. But let's listen in. I don't know, is this the same video or a different video? One moment, please. It's this one. So right around 2 minutes or so.
Extraterrestrial society. Their lives lasted more than a millennium, and their height was about 4 to 5 meters.
4 to 5
They
meters.
had 3 eyes, 2 in front and 1 behind, as well as 4 hands. However, they lacked digestive and some other human organs, relying on energy from nature for their sustenance. The Lemurians were highly spiritual and possessed extraordinary supernatural powers, including telepathy, levitation, and clairvoyance. In this video, we will look for the traces of the ancestors of...
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. I don't know. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Bible. I think that there's other cultures that tie into the Bible and vice versa. So there could be some truth to some of these stories. I don't discount anything, right? I'm not God. I don't know the overall grand scheme of things, but it's a very interesting story. So picture this. So it's like 1890 or so. This guy, Frederick Spencer Oliver, he publishes a book. Actually, I don't think I have his thing. I'll find it here in a minute. He publishes a book claiming that survivors of a sunken continent called Lemuria are living inside Mount Shasta. The book is called A Dweller on Two Planets. Here he is right here. Okay. All right, so let's see if I can do this and not break anything. Check this out. A Dweller on Two Planets is the name of the book. And I don't know, that looks like kind of interesting, huh? The Dividing of the Way by Philos the Tibetan, I guess is what he's saying there. Okay, let's go back here. So it says, Oliver claims that the book had been channeled through him via automatic writing visions and mental dictations by a spirit calling himself Philos the Tibetan, who revealed the story to him over a period of 3 years. Let's see. It introduced the idea of an advanced race hiding in the tunnels beneath the mountains. Spooky. Which also makes me think of the guy that did the remote viewing session on Mars. That's where he said that these giant aliens were living. Anyway, locals and visitors have reported seeing tall, robed figures in white, sometimes described as glowing, near the mountain. Don't know. Are they Lemurians? So just like Sedona, Mount Shasta, it's a New Age hub. Like everyone goes there with their crystals on their spiritual journey. They have like spiritual retreats. There's like this Lemurian lore. I guess it's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to get into too deep, but there's a lot of people that believe that there were previous ancient cultures that lived before modern day, which I happen to kind of believe. So, let's see. I know a couple of you guys have told me stories of things that, you know, kind of didn't make sense or things that didn't quite belong or that you couldn't explain. So I don't want to dismiss all of this stuff because I've seen some stuff too that I don't have an explanation for. And so Patriot SDRL says New Age BS. You're probably right, but there's no harm in talking about it. If you don't like it, you can leave. Anyway, so I don't know. Do you guys want me to do a show on the explained? Do you want me to do a show on the explained? Would you call into Spaces and tell us your story of things that you've seen that are unexplainable? So give me a 1 if you think it's worth me dedicating an entire show to talking about the unexplained. What do you think? Should I do it? Yeah, my lunch break is a mind bender. I agree. Singing Wind gave me a 1. Easy Patriot. All right. Okay. Couple zeros out there. That's okay too. All right. We got some 1s. So, all right. We're going to have to do that. I'm going to definitely can't do it in only one. You can give multiple 1s if you want. Zap, it's your birthday. You can do whatever you want. But I do want to do a show on that. I think I'm going to do that next weekend. Maybe. All right. So, that's good to know. But you guys will call in and tell me your story. Will you do it? Will you guys get an X account and go on to Spaces and tell me your story and let me put it on air? Will ya? Will ya? Will you do it? All right, good. I am seeing some 1s, so I hope that we can get that going because I don't know. I've heard some pretty wild stories. I'd like to hear more. All right, so let's hear more about Oliver, this guy. And actually, before we do that, so just to kind of, I thought it said in here, it doesn't. All right, let's go and watch this because I'm pretty sure it's in here. At 10:24 is the timestamp.
Surviving
10:24.
gold,
Nope.
walnuts of their
right here.
origins of the
Somewhere right here.
millions of secrets and powers that blur the lines between myth and reality, inviting those who hear their tale to ponder the limits of human potential and the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil of the known world. The narrative surrounding the Lemurians' presence within the mystique confines of Mount Shasta unfolds with a tale as peculiar as the beings it describes. The origins of this fascinating story are deeply intertwined with a publication titled A Dweller on Two Planets, authored by Frederick S. Oliver in the year 1899. In the warm embrace of the summer of 1883, a youthful Oliver was engaged in the laborious endeavor
He's a miner.
of delineating the perimeters of his family's mining territory.
He's just a little miner,
His
dude.
task required the methodical placement of wooden stakes into the earth, followed by the careful documentation of their positions in a ledger. Amidst this demanding activity, Oliver experienced a sudden and involuntary trembling of his hand, which began to inscribe the words onto the paper as if guided by an unseen force. Overwhelmed with alarm, the young man hastened home, his hand persistently scribbling cryptic messages as if possessed by a will not of its own. Upon his arrival, his mother quickly supplied him with additional sheets of paper, which he fervently filled with writing. This initial episode of uncontrolled writing eventually ceased, but it unveiled the preliminary fragments of a mysterious text. As time progressed, Oliver found himself sporadically seized by this inexplicable influence, compelling him to write additional passages intermittently over the next several years. By 1895, this piecemeal process culminated in the completion of a manuscript that unveiled the existence of a concealed Lemurian city nestled within the heart of Mount Shasta, along with its storied past. Oliver later professed that he had been selected by the Lemurians themselves to act as a conduit for their history.
So I just want to stop it there. So again, I know that this is outside of a lot of people's like normal content, and I appreciate that. There's some things that I'm pretty rigid about myself that I just don't go there. So I appreciate if you tune in and kind of look at it at least with a little bit of an open mind. In this situation, I do always go back to the Bible, right? Because there are giants in the Bible. To me, that is proof, and there's enough evidence, and to me, it's a factual thing. I also think that it's possible that there could be giants still alive, and there could be some that are living underground. I mean, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but the Bible has a lot of crazy stuff in it. So don't argue with me about it. Go check it out in the Bible. It's pretty wild. But this is huge area. I mean, it is like Tim says. He says it is majestic up there. And okay, sure, Sheila. He said it is majestic up there. That's a whole lot of area, very remote. You could definitely get lost up in there. You could probably, find yourself letting your imagination kind of take off a little bit too. I know I would, I can freak myself out pretty easily. So if I was alone in the woods and something like that happened, it would spook me. I also find it interesting too because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's a podcast that I listen to regarding remote viewing. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're full of woo. It's true. It's true. But I listened to a podcast, and it was a lady that was a remote viewer. You're welcome, Sheila. And she had been brought in by Monagle, which some of you guys will probably not know what I'm talking about, but he was definitely one of the leading. I didn't know that, Tim Mull. He says you have to sign into climate and you have to carry your little droppings out with you. Anyway, so this lady, she was a remote viewer, and she was brought in by, I think it was Monagle or somebody else, a colonel, I think it was. And so a lot of the other remote viewers and other people in the program kind of didn't like her because she was hand selected. And she didn't have like formal training. She didn't come in without the skill like other remote viewers had who'd been trained by the government or by these scientists. She came in with a natural, I guess you could say, psychic ability. And one of those was that she would, I don't know what it's called, but she would just start writing, and she would receive these messages via writing. And that reminds me of this situation where this miner just suddenly had the urge to sit down and start writing, and his hand just took control, and he's put out this book. Now, there is an audio copy of his book that's on YouTube, so if you guys want to check it out, I'll try to find it before we stop here. Tim, you're making me want to go there. I really want to go. Automatic writing, yeah. So, just beautiful though. And I'll tell you what, Northern California is gorgeous. You guys, if you haven't been to California, you should go. Everyone should go. And the terrain is so different from Northern California to Southern California. Yes, there are lunatics there. Indeed. Absolutely. There's a high combustion level of lunatics. But man, when you get outside of those big cities, it is breathtakingly beautiful. Definitely. Let's see. Rock and Roll says, believe me when I say they are hiding your history. I do think that there are some things that they don't necessarily want us to know. All right. So Sheila says, I like woo. Plus, I saw videos about these people a long time ago. Yeah. So let's continue on. So I don't know. It does spook me a little bit to think of someone just sitting down, having the urge to write, grabbing a pen and having their hand start writing for them. Kind of weird. It's freaky. Makes me think, are they possessed? I don't know. Okay. that guy, the miner guy, he also said there's an entire underground city beneath Mount Shasta called Telos. It's supposed to be like a high-tech utopia with crystal-powered technology, with enlightened human beings. Been chilling there for a couple thousand years, you know? Yep. Well, Mo makes a good point. Well, then how did the Bible get written, right? Because I do believe that the Bible is the Word of God delivered to human beings who sat down and wrote it. I had to start without you, Sunny. We were looking for you because we want your cake. We want cake. Do you guys remember that? What movie was that? Oh my goodness. I want to say it was Night something. The guy's like, I want my cake. I want my cake. You guys remember? Oh, I'm going to have to find it. I'm going to find it. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's get through the woo real quick like. All right. So these enlightened beings living there for a few thousand years. All right. And then something else that I found super fascinating is he said that there were cigar-shaped craft. Right. And now remember, this is in the 1800s. In the 1800s, this guy is saying this, okay? Woo-woo cake. Oh, delicious. My favorite kind. All right, let's see.
Firsthand, he painted a picture of a city nestled deep within the mountain's heart, a labyrinth of glowing tunnels adorned with hidden, self-operating doors and structures of remarkable elegance. He spoke of apartments that shimmered with gold and were carpeted with a plush, fleecy material that seemed as luxurious as it was mysterious. Oliver proclaimed that the entire city was lavishly adorned with an array of sparkling crystals, yet more gold, as well as silver, bronze, and a wealth of precious stones, all energized by the mysterious power of crystals themselves, radiating light and warmth, forming a sanctuary that remained hidden from the uninvited gaze of the outside world. The technology within this mystical city, as described by Oliver, was nothing short of astonishing, boasting an array of incredible devices and vehicles that seemed beyond the realm of imagination. These large, cigar-shaped airships gilded and hovered with an almost sentient grace. The publication of his account broke new ground.
So let's talk about this guy for a minute. So let's see. So the city of Telos, it was a myth, and then it grew to like this legend, right? And then in the 20th century, it kind of expanded from there. So this guy, Warren Ballard, he was the founder of the I Am movement. Let me find him real quick. Guy Ballard. Let's look at him. There he is right there, Guy Ballard. He was an American mining engineer who, with his wife Edna Ann Wheeler Ballard, in fact, I'll make it bigger so you can read it too. All right, founded the I Am activity. Ballard was born in Newton, Kansas, married his wife in Chicago in 1916. Ballard served in the U.S. Army in World War I and then became a mining engineer. Both Edna and Guy studied theosophy and the occult extensively. It's crazy to think that there were people back then doing that, huh? Living at the base of the California mountain, Mount Shasta in 1930, Ballard frequently hiked on the mountain where he reported the following to have occurred. It came time for lunch, and I sought a mountain spring for clear, cold water. Cup in hand, I bent down to fill it when an electrical current passed through my body from head to foot. I looked around, and directly behind me stood a young man who at first glance seemed to be someone on a hike like myself. I looked more closely and realized immediately that he was no ordinary person. As this thought passed through my mind, he smiled and addressed me, saying, "My brother, if you will hand me your cup, I will give you a much more refreshing drink than spring water." I obeyed, and instantly the cup was filled with a creamy liquid. Handing it back to me, he said, "Drink it." I don't know if I'd drink it. I don't know if I would. I don't know. I don't know if I would drink it. The young man later identified himself as Count of Saint Germain. Ballard provided details of his encounters with Saint Germain and other ascended masters in the books Unveiled Mysteries and the Magic Presence using the pen name Godfrey Raking. Guy Ballard, his wife Edna, and their son Edona Eros Donald Ballard. What a name for a their son. Okay. Even that's a weird name for a son. Edona Eros Donald Ballard claim to be the sole accredited messengers of Saint Germain. Their teachings constitute the original nucleus of what are today called the Ascended Master Teacher teachings and are still used in IM sanctuaries all over the world. Wow. Huh? Let's see what you guys are talking about out there. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. I'm losing my audience. I'm looking for the Casey Mount Shasta quote. That would be interesting. Huh. The mysterious count who never dies. What if there are many dimensions circling our Earth? Same Earth, but different frequencies. I don't know. Most of Saint Germain is a rabbit hole. I don't know. I think there's definitely more stuff here to be investigating, though. So hikers that have been around there, I saw a lot of people reporting like strange humming sounds or vibrations coming from the ground, but some claim to have found hidden cave entrances that vanished when they return. So Tim was talking about how there's like a lot of lava tunnels. Maybe there's some changes to the geography due to that. I don't know. Let's see, I got a video here. This guy says that he's seen it himself. Let's check him out, huh? Oh.
So I thought this girl was working out like crazy, but she wasn't. I met her yesterday at the gym, and I asked her, how do you look so great?
I'm under the understanding that when Lemuria finally sunk, preparations were made in Shasta for 2 million. Well, 2 million didn't make it. 25,000 made it. And since then, it appeared at the last time the count was somehow communicated to us, there were like 1.2 million Lemurians in Telos. They're just in another dimension. They're still very physical. And yes, they still procreate and have families, absolutely positively. He brought us up to a level where you've seen these cityscapes.
I mean, I thought I was woo-woo.
I'm looking over the first level of Telos from this perspective. It's circular in orientation. Most of the structures here are crystalline in fashion. And in the smack dab middle of it is this huge white pyramid with a capstone on the top. You guys have no idea what's already here and has been here a lot longer than we have, waiting for us to just vibrate at the same level so they can share their technology. They think that there's great merit in humanity. There are 4 particles to our reality: time, light, gravity, and sound.
Time, light, gravity, and sound. That's interesting. All right, so just based off of what you've seen there, what do you guys think? Is he giving you a believable story? You guys interested in that? Is it something you would just shut him down? I really do look at people and their body language to try to judge. He's very excited. I believe that he believes 100% in what he's saying. Rock and Roll says, I was going to say, I bet there's a pyramid or 2 there. Right?
I'm back, but on my phone.
Okay. All right. Have you been following along to this crazy, wacky topic?
Okay, Lemurian, that's like the other island of Atlantis, am I right?
Supposedly it was before Atlantis, and some people think it was after Atlantis, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard all this before. It's like a new age thing.
Definitely new age. Very, very new age. All right, so you're kind of in the loop here. I don't know, we just showed a video of a guy who thinks that he believes it. I don't know. I was asking chat out there. Do you guys think this guy is telling the truth? Do you think he just all right, ain't nobody got time for that. What do you guys think? Do you think that the guy believes it? Do you think that he's speaking the truth? Do you think he's seen it? I want to hear what you have to say.
I think these people totally believe in this other dimension timeline thing. They totally believe it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheila says, I think it's real, not something we should be getting into. I don't think that there's any harm of looking into it. I think whenever you start investing your, I guess you could say heart into it, when you start removing other beliefs and replacing it with this is where you could potentially run into the problemo. Half Right says, I've always before Atlantis. I think there's other dimensions. I do believe there are definitely other dimensions, but I'm not sure about this story. But let's keep listening. I don't know if he's nuts or he's telling the truth, but I do believe that he believes that he is telling the truth. So he thinks that he has seen something. It's a pretty remarkable story, too. Like, that had to be a pretty serious trip. Right. Mo says, yeah, I think we are not playing with demons. We are investigating things. I think it's okay to consider various stories as long as you don't, start like signing over your soul. That's different. Okay. So let's see. Where did we leave off here? All right. So fun fact, telos means purpose in Greek, which is kind of ironic for a city that no one can find, huh? Purpose. That's what it means. Purpose. Hi, Vinny's wife from New Hampshire. All right, so let's keep going. So as if that's not all weird enough, there's also been Bigfoot and cryptid sightings. Yes, that's right. Bigfoot. I was never one to believe in Bigfoot, but I tell you what, I listened to a couple different podcasts, and I think there could be something to it. It's pretty wild. I mean, I don't know.
Burning Bigfoot out of his habitat.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bigfoot's on the run.
Pantifa. Right. Because they're such, climate, concerners. Wow. All right. So
even Bigfoot runs when he sees tranny Ampha with lighters and gas cans.
You've seen their pictures when they were working out, Aaron. They were fierce. Bigfoot would run from that. They're 2-inch muscles. I mean, they were flexing. Scary. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at here? So I don't know. The Bigfoot thing, I've listened to a couple of Bigfoot podcasts, and I was just like, wow, okay, there could be something to that. I don't know for sure. I've never seen Bigfoot myself. Bigfoot probably wouldn't last a minute out here in the Arizona desert. But let's see, what do we have here? Here's a sighting from Mount Shasta. Let's see what this is about here. And this is at 2:41.
Watch what salt
These freaking
does to your brain.
commercials are
Take a look at these 2 brain scans. They both
2:41.
By this time, you get.
Okay, so
As I drew closer to
this woman, she's giving us like a little testimony of what she saw. Tim says he thinks he's heard a Bigfoot once. That would be scary. I'm not gonna lie. Finding Bigfoot is no small feat. Har, 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 har. Okay, what was it? 2:41. I wanted to just get past all the setting up the scene. We're just going straight to the scene. To somewhere around here.
Like dogs. This was no dog. My mind was trying to make sense of what it was exactly that I was seeing. My brain started to explain to myself what I was seeing. My best guess in that moment was a coyote was feeding on a deer that had possibly been hit by a car. Now I saw no white belly, tail, or antlers that a deer would possess, and I know coyotes don't get that big. At that moment, I told myself that perhaps it was standing on the deer, hunched over feeding on it. Upon further thought, I was almost positive I was looking at a werewolf. More animal than man.
That's scary.
I'm fairly certain that we don't have werewolves in Ohio. But that's what this is about, isn't it? The unknown. The figure was a huge dog-like creature that was standing on its hind legs. The legs were muscular and in a squatting position. He was hunched over almost on all fours with a front paw slightly up off the ground. It had long piled disheveled fur. The color was hard to tell due to the time of day and the lighting, but it was definitely darker. It was about the size of a large buck and was facing the passenger window of my Jeep at a perspective where I was looking straight down its snout. The creature had a face like a German shepherd, long snout with almost a lamb chop and short neck of beard. The ears almost looked pinned back or turned back on themselves, almost like a dog that's walking in the wind and rotated them down and back.
Yeah, I don't know. That so scares me. I don't know. And it's kind of funny, like, you know, they're going back hundreds of years, there were reports of werewolf, right? So Badass Uncle Sam says it was Big Mike. Like, I mean, it's possible. I don't know, but werewolves?
The Obama divorce rumors are back in the Daily Mail today, so Big Mike's going to be free agent out roaming around in the woods.
Mm-hmm. Running around with Pantifa setting fires.
Yep.
All right. But I mean, all joking aside though, so if you go back to like the Skinwalker Ranch thing, the Skinwalkers is what they call them, going back to werewolf stories, going back to Bigfoot stories, I mean, it passes across multiple cultures. It's like some of these things, there's definitely a trend. And then I didn't even touch on it in what I was doing here in the research, but if you go back to like the local Native American tribes, they have legends of giant hairy men or what they call like forest spirits. And that was way, way, way before Bigfoot ever became like a pop culture icon. So it does go back a long time. I mean, maybe it is just
huge in Oklahoma. I mean, probably a day doesn't go by that you don't see the Bigfoot thing on sticker on somebody's truck here, because the natives here all say that Bigfoot's here. I mean, it's not even like a joke. It's like reality based for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I've listened to some podcasts, which I was just like, man, these people sound totally normal and they believe what they're telling me. So I feel like they saw something. I don't know. But let's see. So in 2018, a hiker claimed to see a 7-foot tall creature with dark fur near Panther Meadows. Tracks have been found, though they're often debated. Some people say that it's like they link Bigfoot to interdimensional beings or aliens, which I kind of believe in. Oh, we got breaking news from Bigley. I just did my impression of the guy over at, oh no, what's his name? Lookner. Breaking news, right now, breaking news. Big Mike is leaving Barry O'Bummer for eating peanuts the day before date night. Wow. That was pretty rough. Woo, okay, anyway. Let's see. All right. I don't know. The interdimensional beings thing is kind of interesting to me. Kind of believe that. Like if there is this energy vortex thing, could it be like a portal for these creatures like we talk about at Skinwalker Ranch? If you haven't watched Skinwalker Ranch, you really should. Even if you're not into that sort of thing, there are some things that are unexplained. Bernie Beagle, that face on that lemon is hilarious.
Right. Well, the guy Bigelow that owns Skinwalker Ranch and is the biggest UFO guy also is a major big donor to Trump. So that's kind of interesting too.
I didn't know he was a donor to Trump. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, his background is very interesting. I mean, and even if you go beyond like the whole Skinwalker Ranch thing, how he wanted to build these like blow up houses and stuff to be used in space. And he also won't talk about his own personal experience with skinwalkers, because they always say that they follow you off of the ranch and affect your life and all kinds of paranormal type activity. He won't even talk about that. What are you talking about, Mo? What is that on? The series I was talking about is Skinwalker Ranch. I think Skinwalker Ranch is real too. I think that it's soft disclosure. I think that they are trying to introduce us to this whole thought of interdimensional beings or interdimensional something, whatever it may be. All right. So does anybody out there have a Bigfoot story? Tim told us he thought he heard one time. So Mo, you can catch, I think, the first like 3 or 4 seasons on history.com, and you don't have to have a paid one. Actually, it's History Vault. History Vault. And you can watch like the first 4 seasons, and then after that, I think you have to pay for them. Sometimes you can catch like little hints like on YouTube and stuff, but they get kind of messed up. But the first 4 seasons will give you enough information for you to be like, whoa, that's pretty freaking incredible. Let's see.
I mean, I've had weird stuff happen, but not the Bigfoot thing, even though I lived in wooded areas and been in wooded areas a lot. I never had anything like that. I mean, being in the woods at night is scary anyway.
Yeah. So look at that. Big Lee says, I've had 2 encounters with Bigfoot as a kid in the redwood forest of Northern California. I can say, I don't know. I mean, I thought this was bears when I was 13. I went to Yosemite with family friends, and me and my best friend, we snuck out of our tent in the middle of the night because that's what 13-year-olds do, you know, to go get drunk and get crazy. And I swear we got chased by bears. I don't know what it was, but it was some very large animal, and I didn't look back. I just ran. But Northern California has a weirdly, but that's good, Bigley. So you'll definitely be one I want to call in and tell your story. I'm going to try to do that next week, maybe. We're going to do an unexplained episode of people calling in and telling us their stories. What could go wrong at a place called Happy Camp? A lot could go wrong. Tell me about it. Really wrong. All right. Anyway, I want to hear the Bigfoot story. All right. So there's also the whole UFO piece of it. Supposedly it's a hot spot. People reporting strange lights and craft at Mount Shasta for decades. I tried to find some good stuff. I tried to find UFO stuff because, you know, there's so much UFO stuff that you find on X. And look at this. This made me laugh. So look, Google Street View capture close to Mount Shasta. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is that? Right? Right? I'm like, what is that thing there? Can you guys see it? Let's make it bigger. Can you see it? Ooh, what is that? But then I later found this. Later, I found this, which said that it was a water droplet, which kind of makes sense. I mean, unless it was a UFO that was like going through the trees and stuff, right? It definitely could be a water droplet. But I also think that they use some kind of like stealth type of technology. I mean, we do on our planes. Why wouldn't a UFO? And if it's a silver type of orb or something, it would be a reflection. So I don't know. They said it was a water droplet, though. I don't know. Let's see. We got this. And I think I don't know, like I've even heard my mom talk about this, and she's real big in the whole UFO stuff. She talks about the alien clouds, which that is pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie. How the top of this mountain, because it's so high, you guys are laughing. It's woo woo. I said we were going woo woo. But yeah, there's these strange clouds that appear over Mount Shasta. And my mom says that it gives like, you know, coverage for UFOs to hide inside these clouds so that no one can see.
It looks like a bad like mountain toupee.
Yeah, kind of, huh? Right? just laying right on top of it. This right here was a drawing, I think. So, yeah, so a drawing from Frederick Spencer Oliver's book, A Dweller on Two Planets. It purports to show an alien vessel visiting Mount Shasta. This is in like the 1800s. This guy was drawing this, which kind of reminds me of some of the UFOs that you see in the biblical accounts, right? Or the old paintings, I should say. Yeah, Mo, there was the huge ass something that flew over Arizona. I remember. I didn't see that though. I wish I had. So Tim says they get clouds like that all the time, linear clouds. And I mean, I would suspect that it's because of the atmosphere. It's so high. But dang, that's beautiful. I wish I lived there. I really do. I know we have a lot of complaints about California, but man, it is just, it is God's country. I tell you what. I mean, the clouds just hover right over it. Look, here it comes. Here comes the UFO. Do 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 do. I mean, it is weird. You have to admit that is weird. It just stays there. Look at that one. I mean, I'm looking at that thinking that's crazy. Yes, the governor of was it the governor? Yeah, he was the governor. Symington, I think it was. And then the day after, he made it out to be a joke, of course. But yeah, very unusual clouds. But man, that is beautiful. I want to live
Are you
there.
talking about the Arizona lights?
Yeah, that's what Mo's talking about.
You know, I was thinking the other day that, you know, how at the time they said that the Arizona lights was like a football field size thing.
Yeah.
But just like we're 15, 20 years down the road from that. I keep meaning to go back and research that again, because now, knowing what we know now, what if it probably was like total experimental first generation drones that were flying in a formation, and that's why the lights stayed in that certain football field shape, because we see that all the time now and we're like, oh yeah, that's what drones do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or it was that one show guy that I did, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, that did uh the study on orbs. And you know, if you talk to people in Arizona who did see it, it was massive. Like, it was humongous. It was definitely not flares. People did claim to see a triangular shaped craft, like similar to like the old stealth type of craft in that triangular shape, just an outline of it.
Because Oklahoma is like UFO Central now, but I know, because I researched it, that we are the headquarters of experimental drones. They're being developed. There's a huge aerospace industry here for whatever, probably Republican reason. And they are being developed at the university. So, you know, it's like a lot of weird stuff going on here. Any night you look up in the sky, you're like, okay, like, what alien invasion am I going to see today?
So let me see if I can find it. So I did this show. Dang, how do I find my retweets or whatever? Repost. Here, we're under repost. So right here, I covered for Deb. This was 2 months ago. And I did this show on orbs, and I can't remember what this guy's name is. I should have put it in here. Did I? Did I? No. Oh, because this isn't my link. It's to PSB. Anyway, I'll drop the link out there. This guy is fascinating. I should play this again, because the audio and video is really crappy because I was on my laptop. But super, super fascinating topic. This guy did a study on orbs. He says there's at least 3 different size shapes. The ones that we see down here are the smaller ones. They're always in a triangular pattern. There's usually what did he say? At least 4, so 3 in a triangular pattern, and then 1 further off in a distance, and then there's going to be 1 up in the atmosphere. And that's how they, I don't know. I have to watch it again because I'm not prepared to talk about it. But this was a really good show, and I will see if maybe I can show clips of that sometime. But it was really interesting. Anyway, going back to Mount Shasta, they do have some interesting clouds. Also, yeah, we haven't seen real clouds in decades, right? When we see something like this, we're like, oh, it's a UFO, because we don't even recognize a cloud that doesn't look like a chemtrail. Oh, I was going to show this. So SETI has gotten in on it. So SETI is also, they've got their telescopes pointed towards Mount Shasta. So SETI researchers continue to search for alien life in Shasta County. Hat Creek. In the small town of Hat Creek in Shasta County, a few hours north of the Bay Area, a radio observatory is looking for a lot more than just stars. The sensitive receivers scan the radio spectrum spanning 0.5 gigahertz to 11 gigahertz in range of 10 billion channels. The radar dishes are searching for something humans have hoped to find for generations, signs of a remote, technologically capable civilization. It's not unthinkable. In August 1977, Ohio State University Big Ear radio telescope picked up a strong narrowband radio signal, which so impressed astronomer Jerry Amon that he circled a printout recording the signal and wrote, "Wow." That really was a big event. The WOW event was a big deal. So it's gone down in history as the WOW signal and remains the strongest candidate for the reception of a non-natural ET signal, which is interesting. If there's this huge civilization in the middle of this mountain, why aren't we picking up any radio signals from that? What are they doing? How are they doing it? We're listening for radio signals, and our experiment's really simple, says Dr. Shostak. We take these 42 antennas, we point them at some nearby star system, and we listen at multiple frequencies to see if we pick up any sort of signal. That's been the idea since Nikola Tesla suggested the scheme in 1908, and Dr. Frank Drake implemented the first search at Green Bank in West Virginia in 1960s. Big difference in the way we're looking for ET today compared to the 60s is mostly in the equipment. The equipment isn't just millions, it's billions of times better. It means that you're covering a lot of the radio dial at once, so that increases your chances of finding something, which, okay, have they found something and they haven't told us? Or is there just nothing to be found? Yeah, badass Uncle Sam says Stephen Greer warning of a fake alien invasion soon. I have my worries about Greer, to be honest with you. I loved the press conference that he gave about a year or so ago where he brought in all those whistleblowers. I think that was fantastic. In fact, let me find that, because you guys, if you're into the UFO stuff, you definitely should watch this press conference because it was pretty freaking mind-blowing. Let's see if I can find it here.
I'll bring it up again. Elizondo was a counter intel guy, which means a liar. And then you have Mellon banking family is funding all this. So I'm not saying there isn't aliens. I'm just saying that there's a lot of funny business going on right now.
Yeah, huge disinfo agents for real. And I don't know, Greer, I have bad vibes about Greer. I do think that this press conference that he did was fantastic. Mainly because it wasn't him talking about his remote viewing thing. But then there was also this. Just since we're on, don't do this to me, I tell you what, finding stuff on X is such a pain in the booty. Where did I find it? I just saw it a minute ago. There it is. Okay, this is the one thing that I do trust from Lou Elizondo. The only thing I trust from him, in fact. Here we go. Rewind it. Oh, that's not the button.
I had one.
What happened? What happened?
the conversation very well. So he told me, he said, Lou, I want you to stop doing this. I said, okay, sir, I certainly can, but may I ask why? And he says, well, we already know what it is. Now, at that moment, I honestly thought maybe it was our own technology. I was running up against some super uber secret SAP, and they were telling me to stop. And I said, okay, sir, so it's ours? And he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he said, he asked me point blank, have you read your Bible lately? And I wasn't quite sure where he was going with that. And I said, well, sir, I think I know what it says. Where are you going with this? And he said, well, then you would know that these things are demonic and we should not be pursuing them. Yeah. And he wasn't kidding. That's exactly how he felt.
So this is a Pentagon. This is a Department of Defense official saying, stop looking at UFOs because they're demonic.
Correct.
Mike.
So that's the only thing that's my personal belief, is that this is a spiritual battle, but that's just me. I'm going to retweet that because I like that video. And I've watched a lot of stuff on UFOs, as you guys might imagine. Here's the link there to the Elizondo thing. I dropped the press conference, right? Yes. You guys, if you are into the UFO stuff, you really should watch that press conference, because those whistleblowers brought the sauce for real. All right, what are we looking at time-wise? We're doing good. We're doing good. Okay, here we go. All right, so in the 60s, multiple witnesses saw a glowing cigar-shaped object hovering over the peak. No pictures. I tried. I couldn't find any. Supposedly a group of campers recorded video of pulsating orbs darting around the mountain. I couldn't find that video. What is this? Oh, I don't remember what this was. Uh-oh. All right, and at about 3:15.
Now, many people truly believe that there is a highly advanced underground city below this mountain.
All right.
Interesting book and a very interesting young man. Now, there's one thing within the story that I want to backtrack on. Oliver stated that he saw highly advanced cigar-shaped airships. Now, the UFO phenomena didn't really start until the 1940s and 50s, and one of the most common UFO sightings around the world is a cigar-shaped UFO, which I find very interesting. Another very strange encounter happened to a man named Edward. One day, Edward was on a train when he saw the whole southern side of Mount Shasta blaze to life with a brilliant and very strange reddish and green blinding light.
Oh.
And Edward couldn't believe what he was looking at. So he asked the train conductor, and the train conductor told him that this was the work of the Lemurians. Now, Edward was wondering, what the heck was this train conductor talking about? And after he got off the train, he started to investigate.
Lots of hearsay. I don't want to put too much into it. Oh, wow. Arizona, top 5 Bigfoot sightings. Really? I mean, we do have forest in northern Arizona, so it is possible. I'll have to look that up and see. Not that I want to meet a Bigfoot. I definitely do not. But that video was not all that fruitful. Let's see what it says here. Talks about the book. Oliver stated that he saw highly advanced cigar-shaped airships. Okay, hold on. Let's make that bigger. Now, the UFO phenomena didn't really start up until the 1940s and 50s, and no one of the most common UFO sightings around the world is a cigar-shaped UFO, which I find very interesting. Another very strange encounter happened to a man named Edward. We just saw that. This must be the whole video. This is just like the transcript. What was this 5-year-old? Very interesting case that comes from one of my favorite books, Missing 411. One day, a young boy and his grandmother were taking a nice little hike in the woods near Mount Shasta when all of a sudden the grandmother just passed out, and when she woke up, her grandson was missing. Now, the young boy was found a couple hours later, and he said that he got abducted. But he said that? By a robot that looked and sounded just like his grandmother, and he also said that he was taken to a huge underground cave that was filled with other robots. Now, of course, this sounds like something a 5-year-old would make up, but what's really interesting about this case is when the grandmother finally woke up, she felt a very odd pain on the back of her neck, and she discovered a very strange a puncture wound, making her believe that foul play was involved and someone or something did abduct her grandchild. See, I don't know. This stuff makes me think like the government is up to some funny business, right? I really do think the government does some funny stuff. And I think abductions could also be how they get people involved in MK Ultra.
Well, you know, I absolutely believe that if they were abducting people and doing weird experiments, and then they plant the idea that an alien did it in their head.
Right. It's a good cover
and we
story.
know that's true because there's a couple of witnesses that say that honestly their memory would go from hospital, alien spaceship, hospital, alien spaceship.
Right.
Doctors, alien doctors. Like their memory go back and forth. So at least some of them.
They perform the medical stuff on them too.
Mm-hmm. I 100 believe at least some of the abductions were some kind of experiment. And then part of the experiment was they hypnotized them and told them, you are not in this government building. You are in a spaceship. We are not doctors. We are aliens. And that implanted in their head.
That's like when you guys need to join us on Spaces, because sometimes we just go off and have these really cool conversations. Last night it was me, P. Diz, Aaron, Big Lee, a couple other people. Zed Saskatchewan was there, a couple other people, and we were talking about now I can't think of it. Laurel Canyon and that big base. What did they call that?
Lookout Mountain.
I was going to say Lookout. I didn't think that was right, but Lookout Mountain. And it was a huge movie studio. And you could easily take someone, clonk them over the head, take them to that place, set up a set, right, that looks like a UFO or whatever. You could convince people of anything, honestly. With the right production, I just think there's a lot to it. You could get away with a lot, and people would be walking out of there thinking they got abducted by aliens for freaking real. And AZ Patriot, she said her friend had an alien abduction, so maybe she can get her friend to come on air and tell her story, because she mentioned that a few times. But anyway, all right, so let's start wrapping this up here. All right, and then the last piece of it, I think it's the last part, is they say Mount Shasta, it's not just about like creatures and crafts, it's also like a spiritual location. Some people call it like the Earth chakra point. It's a place where energy flows stronger than anywhere else. I don't know, like if you look at like ley lines and stuff, there could be something to it. Yeah, Arizona Patriot, you need to get your friend to come on and tell her story. Visitors report sudden feelings of peace, disorientation, or even visions while meditating on the mountain. Meditation for me is also a little bit of a danger zone, in my opinion. For those of you who do meditate, that's up to you, but I think there is a little bit of, you should research it because it's a little bit interesting. There have been apparitions of Native American figures or miners from the gold rush in that era that they spotted all kinds of crazy things. Some people that have gone up there and were meditating, they saw Native American figures, they saw miners, don't know. And I don't know if it has something to do with like altitude, because you do, with altitude, you have less oxygen. Maybe it's a combination of like less oxygen, higher altitude with like magnetic fields. I don't know. Let's see. I did ask Grok. Let's see what Grok said here. Grok said, geologically, Mount Shasta is a stratovolcano in the Cascade Range sitting on a tectonic hotspot where the Pacific Plate subducts under the North American Plate. It's dormant, last erupting over 3,000 years ago, but its deep roots and mineral-rich springs, like those at Panther Meadows, hit at subtle geothermal activity. Could this generate energy? Sure, in a literal sense. Earth's magnetic field is shaped by its iron core, and volcanic areas can have localized magnetic anomalies due to iron-rich basalt. Studies like those from the U.S. Geological Survey show volcanoes can tweak the geomagnetic field slightly. I don't know, it just talks about a bunch of stuff I don't understand. But these are tiny, not the feel the buzz level vortex fans describe. No data suggests they'd affect human consciousness. Physics-wise, energy is everywhere. Electromagnetic fields, heat, sound waves, but the vortex idea implies something unique and concentrated. Mount Shasta's height, 14,179 feet, and isolation make it a lightning magnet, and atmospheric electricity could spike during storms. Research on ionospheric effects, like the Journal of Geophysical Research, shows mountains can influence local ion concentrations, creating charged air pockets. Negative ions, which are higher near waterfalls or peaks, might lift mood studies from the 1980s, link them to serotonin boost. Still, this is subtle, not a portal to another dimension. Atmospheric quartz add more. Mount Shasta's famous lenticular clouds form when the moist air hits its peak, condensing into lens-like shapes. These can refract light oddly, creating halos or mirages. Might spark I saw a UFO. Blah, blah, blah. There's also rare volcanic gases.
Totally true. I've gone to places like those weird places in Kansas where like the magnetic field is so screwed up that like metal bends over time and stuff like that. And when you go there, and there's some other weird things around the Great Lakes in Illinois that are supposedly like that. And you really do feel weird when you're there. So the body does pick up this stuff. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, there is. There are points on the earth that are different. So this is from Proletario. I'm not a huge fan of him, Ariel. But he says Mount Shasta and Urulu are both considered root chakra. Mount Shasta is the base of the spine in North America. The mountain is also believed to be a spiritual vortex, making it a focal point for those seeking to balance and activate their root chakra energy. Different beliefs. Yeah, let's see. I'm just looking through the comments here if there's anything. Not a lot to it.
I remember like a couple years ago when people were watching Crowdsource the Truth a lot, Jason Goodman got, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but he was hanging out with that Buddhist guy who is a real nut. But anyway, the guy like lived in a camper or something at Shasta, Mount Shasta. And I know it's like a Native American thing and a New Age thing, but Jason Goodman like went there or whatever, and I couldn't believe that it was like Woodstock there. I'm like, I didn't know it attracted so many people. That was the most shocking thing about me. I bet it does feel weird being there, and that the weird clouds and everything make it feel surreal or whatever, because I've been in places like that. They exist.
Yep. So let's see. Is Mount Shasta the Earth's root chakra? So I'm not into any of this. I know there are people are, but I don't know. So let's see. Lots of people ask me about this when they visit here, so I thought it might be helpful to offer some insights from my experience of maximizing this so you guys can read it too, of leading spiritual retreats and tours on the mountain. For me, Mount Shasta offers a fully integrated experience of awakening. You could say that Mount Shasta opens and activates all of the chakras. If someone comes to the mountain with a block in any particular chakra, and if they are open to the gifts that the mountains offers, they will experiencing clearing of that chakra. See, that's even woo-woo for me. It's a little too woo-woo for me. I don't know. I would much rather just take my Bible up there and go sit on the mountain and read it. And I bet you I could come away feeling pretty dang good. So strong case could also be made that Mount Shasta is the crown chakra. As many of you know, Mount Shasta is closely associated with Saint Germain, who is the master of the seventh ray, the violet ray. So Mo, you need to do a show on this. The violet energy is very strong and accessible on the mountain, and since Mount Shasta is a great place for expanding into your infinite eternal self, this might be considered a seventh chakra experience. I don't know about all that, guys. Like I said, I'll take my Bible up there and I'll feel pretty good. But I will say, my mom, she used to live in Sedona, and I personally experienced like that whole calming effect of the area. Like I would leave the Phoenix Valley and go up there, and I would go right over that mountain range and be right at the base of like Sedona, and I could just feel my blood pressure just instantly go down. I felt very peaceful and calm. And there's definitely places that do change how you feel.
I mean, that's told like it's not so very long ago, like even the early 1900s, where doctors would prescribe you to go to different areas to cure you. Like if you lived in Illinois and you had certain things, they'd tell you to go to these hot springs or even to just go live in the desert or whatever, because they said the air and the earth would be more in tune with you, and the allergy or whatever would just go away. And so this is like really not that woo-woo in a way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, there is something to it. I mean, especially here in Arizona, just because our atmosphere is so dry. And for people that have like arthritis, the heat is good for them, getting them out of the cold. And the dry air is good for people that have like asthma. The Red Rocks of Sedona, high iron. I don't know. I love the place. I really do. Wish I could afford to live up there, but I can't. It's expensive. All right, so a couple more things and then we are done, you guys. We have almost experienced Mount Shasta. I wish I was there, though. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so they talked a little bit about it. So Blavatsky. Remember, Aaron, we did that whole show on Blavatsky? She creeped me out.
Oh, yeah. Theosophy is like something I spent a lot of time on.
Serpentine Anon says, remind me sometime to tell you about a story from Sedona involving a supposed alien artifact that I had in my hands. Well, dang it, next week. I'm going to do a show, and we're going to call it Unexplained, and you guys are going to call in. So if you do not have an X account, or if you have an X account and you don't want anyone to know what it is from the soapbox or whatever, just go create a burner account. Just create an account on X, name it whatever you want. You don't have to have any followers. You don't have to have a paid account. Just create an account on X, and then I'll do a spaces. You can join the space, and I'll bring you up and you can tell us your story, because I really do want to know. I am truly curious about what you guys have experienced. I know what I've experienced. Erin has told us a little bit about what she's experienced. A couple of you have also told me your stories, which are mind-blowing. I'd love to hear it. So please go create an X account so you can join us on Spaces, because you guys need to have a voice too. Anyway, so Blavatsky. Blavatsky's big contribution was introducing the concept of Lemuria to the occult world. In her books, like The Secret Doctrine in 1888, a long time ago, guys, she described Lemuria as a lost continent in the Pacific, home to an ancient third root race of spirituality advanced beings. She didn't pin it to the Mount Shasta specifically. She placed it broadly in the Pacific near California, shifting it from earlier scientific guesses about the Indian Ocean. This was part of her wild evolutionary cosmology, blending science and mysticism, where humanity's ancestors weren't apes, but at the real, which is kind of interesting there too. So what if some of this stuff by these crazy people, right? Because I call her crazy, but maybe there's a little bit of truth in some things, right? Like I would believe that we came from giants before I would believe we came from apes. That's just me. Anyway, high-tech beings. Her ideas caught fire among theosophists and laid the groundwork for later tales. Fast forward to Mount Shasta's modern myths. By the early 20th century, people started saying survivors of sunken Lemuria lived in a hidden city, Telos, beneath the mountain. This wasn't Blavatsky's doing. She died in 1891, but her Lemurian seed sprouted there. There was the IM guy. We already talked about him. Blavatsky, she never stepped foot on Mount Shasta. She never called it a vortex. Her travels took her to India, Tibet, Egypt, and New York, not Northern California. But her ideas of lost continents, ascended masters, hidden knowledge, all became part of the whole spiritual DNA for Shasta's reputation as a mystical hub. Locals and New Agers.
So Theosophy, we talked about this before, caught on in California. And so a lot of places that are just normal cities in California now started out as they were like theosophical communes. And they're still kind of weird. There's one actually in Hollywood. And I think it's like it's a hotel now, but one of the biggest ones is now Silicon Valley. And it was a theosophical scientific community with, I forget their names, the Varian brothers, I think, who created the Varian coils, which basically ended up being computers. And that they were all into theosophy, and they were in California, like communing with nature. There was other ones that were like farming communities. They were like communes, new age communes is what I guess we call them now. Yeah. But she like kicked off this whole thing like in the turn of the last century. And it, for whatever reason, really took root in California. So a lot of the California weirdness all like descends back to Blavatsky and all the theosophists, which, by the way, there's Christian theosophy too, which is called Eurythmics, which is where that band got that name.
Right. So Oliver says it's connected to mystery schools, which we need to go back and do the whole Fritz Springmeier stuff again, because that's all connected to the mystery schools and those 13 families and all the hidden knowledge that they don't want us to know. Okay, so let's finish this up. It is 6:38. All right, well, skip that. So by 1940s, writers like Maurice Doreal claimed to visit Telos under Shasta, describing vast underground chambers, echoes of Blavatsky's grand occult visions, but without her naming the spot. So Blavatsky, they just kind of ran with her teachings, I guess, and it kind of turned its way towards the Mount Shasta story. But there are links, I think, and I think there's pieces of it that just get attached to other stories. So I don't know. I guess there's like a blend of like the native stories, the new age woo-woo, just unexplained stuff, things that you see that you don't really have an explanation for. And that just kind of feeds into the topic of paranormal activities at Mount Shasta. So I think it's all of these things combined. I also think it's really great for the local economy, like Roswell is to New Mexico. So people, locals living there, I'm sure that, you know, they don't exactly deny it because they need that tourism there, you know, for all of those getaways and
yeah, it's like Roswell. I'm sure everyone in Roswell will tell you they believe in UFOs.
Right. They saw it themselves, you know. I saw the little green men myself. So I don't know. I still kind of lean on, you know, maybe it is just a government base that they want to keep people away from it. Maybe when people get too close, they try to spook them away with, you know, the whole Bigfoot thing or UFO or I don't know. I just somehow get these visions in my mind of these government employees going, hey, let's do Bigfoot today, you know, to like scare people away. I don't know. But maybe there is something really going on there. I don't know. So I don't know. Chat, you've heard the story. So let's see. What do you guys think there is going on at Mount Shasta? So give me a 1 if you think there's something to it, or give me a 2 if you think these people are nuts. Let's see what you guys have to say. 1 if you think there's something to Mount Shasta, or 2 if you think they're nuts. Dee Dee gives us a 1. Raging Smirk 2. Ricky Roush 2. All right. I got some ones out there. Got a couple 2s. Shasta is a portal zone, Big Lee says. Yeah, I don't know. We're almost even there. Mo says she doesn't know enough to decide. Dynamax, such a little stinker. 1903, yes. 2025, no nuts. Thanks. Thanks for that vote.
I mean, I definitely think there's something going on there. If only because every, native thought it too. Everybody thought it. So I don't know what's going on there, but
let's see.
I think there are just things we don't understand, and there are places associated with them. Because like I said, I've visited some of these places, and weird things happen. So what can I say?
The idea of Mount Shasta being on a ley line ties into metaphysical and esoteric concepts rather than a scientific geography. Ley lines are hypothetical alignments of ancient sites, landmarks, or natural features that some believe carry spiritual or energetic significance. Mount Shasta, a prominent volcanic peak in Northern California, has long been associated with mystical and New Age lore, often cited as a power spot or energy vortex by enthusiasts. There's no universally agreed upon map of ley lines. All right, just like I've seen maps of them where people have laid it out.
Right. And so here's the thing though. So like even take like Stonehenge, they're doing a lot of excavations and a lot of like LiDAR stuff we didn't used to have there. And there's other sites in especially like the British Isles where there's like a mountain or a prominent rock or ledge or whatever that can be seen from all around. And then the prehistoric humans would make like a delineated avenue, or we'll call it a road, with logs and mark it with rocks along the sides or whatever. But it's like a procession avenue or procession in between these different things that kind of stick out in the landscape.
Right.
So this instinct or feeling that there's magical connections in between you and unusual places that look weird or make you feel special, and then having a line that connects them is 100%, no question about it, a thing going back to the earliest history of man.
Yeah.
And something that was so important to them that they put a lot of work into carving out and laying out these very difficult to create roads, but they're not just roads, they're ceremonial. And then they have them like the avenues,
right?
Ceremonial avenues in ancient Egypt. So it's a profoundly human phenomenon that's, I mean, I don't know how far back it goes, but it's like they keep finding more and more of these ceremonial lines or avenues.
And they're all over the world on continents that you were not supposed to be able to travel to. That how did each of these continents have the same, I don't even want to say beliefs, but go down that same path, like something happened. But the truth is, we're not going to answer it on tonight's show. But I think, you do have to keep an open mind. You do have to consider that there are things that are unexplained, which we need to do a show on, and we're probably going to do that next week. So open up an X account, guys. But let's conclude this episode of the Woo Woo. We're going to just finish it out with this glorious video. Dang, that's so much fun.
So I have a woo-woo question for you.
All right.
Okay. So tonight in my world, I'm going to time travel at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. And so I have to get up an hour earlier to do my show tomorrow morning. Now you live in the magical Arizona.
Land of
and
normalcy.
You are not going to time travel from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. or are you? And then you have that morning show. How does that even work?
Oh, geez. I didn't even think of that.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to get out like your calculator and figure this out. Or
so
ask Rock or something.
You're springing forward? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I lose an hour of sleep. So at 2 a.m., it's going to be 3 a.m. So when I wake up, I lost an hour and I have to do my show. So for me, I usually started my show at 8 a.m. my time. It'll be like starting it at 7 a.m.
Okay. This could be a problem because I always sucked at
You're going to have Grok work on this. You'll melt down like the freaking exo like crash trying to figure out how a person in Arizona deals with this.
Okay, so tomorrow is the 9th of March. Okay, on March 9th, it's our time changes tonight or time changes tonight?
Yeah, tonight at 2 a.m.
March 9th, after daylight savings time changes. If I need to be awake at 5 a.m.
And I live in Arizona.
And I live in Arizona. What time is that? I shouldn't ask it that way. No. If I need to be awake at, well, shoot, I don't even know what time it is.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We're going to be in different universes and we're going to lose contact with each other for an hour while I'm in a time warp universe and you're not. It's very woo-woo. And then when do our timelines meet again? When is your show?
I'm normally at 5 a.m. Eastern time. So if you spring forward, that means that it is at 6 a.m. Eastern time. But my time doesn't change. But it would be 3 hours, 2 hours difference then. 2 hours difference then. So if it's at 5 a.m.
It's 4 a.m.
my
for you
time,
then, right?
No, I think it would actually be 6 a.m. my time.
Well, maybe you win then. You're a winner.
I think I do. I'm a winner, chicken dinner.
I don't know, though. You'd seriously have to figure that out.
Well, you might just have a longer show or something. No, hey, Don Vinci.
No, it's whoever is on the air at 2 a.m. loses an hour.
It ain't
so whoever, I don't know what the shift is. If it's if you were midnight to 3, you would end up being midnight to 2 because the clock got changed, right?
Dude, I can't be doing no show at 4 a.m., you guys.
Oh my God, my head hurts. I have no idea what's happening. I just count on my phone knowing what happens.
What is happening, Don Vinci? You better have the Dukes of Hazzard lined up and ready to go so I know when to wake up because I have no clue.
Just count on your phone working. No, it won't work for you. My phone will work because I exist in the real world, not Arizona.
I don't know. Dawn is just such a peach, and she plays the Dukes of Hazzard song. And whenever I hear the part where it's like, making their way the only way they know how, that's what wakes me up. So Dawn's got me. I ain't stressing. I'll be here. Do it a little early, though. I can't do no 4 a.m. That's freaking donkeyless. So 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning, folks. Heaven help me. Heaven help me.
Am I right? Did we lose an hour? Yes, because at 4 a.m. it's 5 a.m.
I don't know why you all have to do this. Can't you just be normal and leave it all alone?
I don't know. Somebody asked Trump about it, and he said that because when they do polling and ask people if they want to stop doing this, everyone says yes. But then they say,
doing no 4 a.m.
So do you want to stay on daylight savings time or regular time? And it's like 50-50. And because of that, no politician wants to make the other 50% get mad when they pick which one we go with. And therefore, it never happens. I mean, Oklahoma, I think, has it in the state legislature every year. And every year it fails because they're too chicken to make 50% of the people angry.
All right, here it is, the ultimate question. Don't give me a long answer. Forward 1 hour overnight. This means that what felt like 5 a.m. the previous week before will now be 6 a.m. on my clock. Yeah. I'm sleeping in. All right. Okay, but I have to do this because we only have 6 minutes left and somebody out there has a birthday. But wait, I'm going to play this first.
Got a chat friend named Light Switch, oh yeah. A spark in the dark with a wild wacky flare. They light up the screen with the buzzing glow, typing puns so fast it's a comedy show. Light switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. We're writing bonkers, you're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. They claim their powers from a pickle jar. Sent a meme of a cow on a shooting star. On in a flash, then off they go, ranting about socks and a tornado's flow. Light switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. Writing bonkers, you're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. They crash with the quip about a dancing fridge, a digital jester on a Wi-Fi bridge. What's the deal? They type real sly, I'm cackling hard. Don't know why. One day they spammed with the rubber duck, said this is my brain when I'm out of luck. Flicker and flash, they're a nutty delight. Light switch keeps the chat lit up all night. Light switch, you're a giggle bomb, flipping on and off like a wired sitcom. Writing bonkers, you're the chat's big thrill, my quirky pal with the laughter skill. Here's the light switch, my zany chat star. Bolts of fun, no matter where you are. Keep flipping those switches, don't ever stop. You're the king of laughs in this online haunt. Here's the light switch, my zany chat star. A bolt of fun, no matter where you are. Keep flipping those switches, don't ever stop. You're the king of laughs in this online haunt. Your laughter skill.
All right, that was the light switch song. I'm going to post that to my X account. Make sure you guys sign up for X because you definitely don't want to miss out on that hit. And we have another one here. I got another one. Running out of time. Here we go.
Born when the world was spinning vinyl gold. Disco lights flashing, stories to be told. Bell bottoms, swagger hair, big and bold. You're a 70s soul, never growing old. Platform shoes and lava lamps glow. Rock and roll hard in a funky flow. Another trip from the sun, here we go. Time to celebrate, let the good times roll. Happy birthday, sunshiny star. Shining bright, no matter where you are. Dance your life like Studio 54. Groove on legend, we're cheering for more. Saturday nights with Travolta's moves. Mixtape spinning those sweet love grooves. Tie-dye dreams and a sky so blue. Every year gets better, cause it's you. 8 tracks tossing polyester dreams. You're the king or queen of the retro scene. Candles lit, make a wish supreme. This birthday's yours, let's make it a thing. Happy birthday, sunshiny star. Shining bright no matter where you are. Dance for life like it's Studio 54. Groove on legend, we're cheering for more. From punk to Pac-Man, you paved the way. CB radio's crackling, what you say. Now the decades turn, but you still slay. A timeless vibe on your special day. From punk to Pac-Man, you paved the way. CB radio's crackling, what you'd say. Now the decades turn, but you still slay. A timeless vibe on your special day. Happy birthday, sunshiny star. Shining bright no matter where you are. Dance for life like Studio 54. Groove on legend, we're cheering for more. So raise a glass, let the confetti fly. Born in the cosmic style, reaching for the sky. Happy birthday, keep that spirit high. You're our disco dancer, never say goodbye.
Wow, I'm just exhausted after all this partying and cake. Woo. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's get that. We're done there. We're done there. It is now 6:59. I don't know what time you guys are waking up tomorrow, but I'm sleeping in an hour. Ha ha. Anyway, thank you, Aaron, so much for joining me for the Woo tonight. We will be back again tomorrow night. I have no idea what we'll be talking, but I think it'll be Q because Sunday is Q night. So I hope you can join us for that. I don't know who's up next. What is happening in the world? What is happening? Dano's up next.
Hey, Roxy. Hey, Aaron.
Hey. All right. Well, I will get out of your way. Thank you again, Aaron. Thank you, chat, for being amazing as always. And have a great show, Dano.
Thank you. That was a great show. I was having fun there. I tuned in about 30 minutes ago. And
right.
I love those Woo topics.
It was Woo. It was for real Woo.
It's fun. That's what the weekends are for, right? Having fun.
Right. I haven't done a Woo show in a long time, so it was good. Got it out of my system for a little while.
Very cool.
All right. Have a nice show. See you later.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Hey, PSB. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are tuned into another edition of the Saturday Night Vibe Show with Dano54. Happy to be here with you all. It's been an interesting week to say. Every week's sort of interesting, isn't it? Day to day, we get stuff to talk about, things to think about, and work together to figure out what the heck's going on, right? But yeah, that Woo stuff. I might have to dabble in a little Woo coming up on some shows there. It's the news can run you dry. I'm not trying to be a news guy anyways. It's more of a just anything interesting and fascinating, right? We're just all here reinventing the wheel in a lot of ways. There's some good stuff out there. Anyways, let's give some shout outs. I want to see who's out there hanging out for tonight's show. Out in Rumble, we've got Cascade. Good to see you always, Cascade. And Azure Roof, the Blue Roof person, Blue Roof man, woman, I don't know, but Azure Roof. Good to see you in Rumble. And I noticed there was like 450 people out there on Rumble. There's only 2 chatters. So if you're out there listening, feel free to log in and opine away. Join the chat. Rumble's a good platform. Out there in Vaughn, we've got Spala Land. Rising 123, who had an amazing call last Tuesday. I appreciate your call in there, Rising. You articulated things pretty well, in my opinion. I love those kind of call-ins, you know. Very well experienced and educated chat, that's for sure. You guys rock. Makes it fun. Just a Pug, Watch the Light Bill. How you doing, Just a Pug? And Dee Kira Jean. Hey, how you doing? I like your colorful name there. I don't know how you did that. I haven't played with Vaughn too much, but that looks like fun. You can't do that in D Live. I don't know if you guys in D Live realize that, but you can like personalize your names out there in Vaughn, you know. So pretty cool. Who else is out there? We've got let's see.